So it's our second day down in the Mars, and the day is finally here. It's Arthur's Day, which we've been talking about for months. Certainly, everybody in Ireland has been talking about it for the last while. All the acts have jetted in. Professor Greene is here. Welcome.
Hello.
And you had a very early start this morning.
I did, yeah. I got picked up by a cab at 5:25, and I had to get up and walk my dog before that. So
I'm very impressed, actually. That's good. So, and is someone minding your little dog?
Responsible adult.
I know. I'm a bit like that now with animals, and I know a lot of people with dogs who don't bother walking them, and I find that very admirable to hear you saying that.
Oh, he needs to stretch his legs. He's a staffy as well, so he's got a lot of energy.
What's his name?
Alfie.
Oh, little cutie.
Yeah, he's cool.
So anyway, welcome to Ireland. How's your summer been? I know you were playing over in Ibiza as well. How did that go? I'd say it was amazing, was it?
Ibiza was wicked. I spent a lot of time there this summer and last, and the one before actually. It's probably my favourite place outside of the UK. It's a wicked island because you can go and you can get involved, but if you know the other side, you can go there and have a really chilled time as well. It's really good restaurants and stuff.
I don't think I've ever actually eaten when I've been in Ibiza, funny enough. Well, I think it's just been a bread roll on the way home.
Yeah, no, it's a cool island. There's definitely two sides to it, and if you can dip in and out of the chaos, then you can survive.
And there's actually so many people from the UK over there. Probably it's kind of you'd nearly think that's where you were.
Do you know what? I try and avoid the Brits abroad a little bit.
I didn't want to say that, but that's all right coming from you.
No, it's fine. It's all right when there's Irish as well.
Yeah, there is.
It's all right when you're out raving, but when when you're trying to recover on a beach, and I get a lot of hassle, and I'm hungover and I'm on a beach not feeling the best, and everyone's coming up. It's just nice to go somewhere where I can sort of hide.
Yeah.
And chill out and be really relaxed, which I did this year. It was nice.
Lovely. It's nice to get a bit of a break because a lot of times when people are doing gigs, they kind of fly in and fly out and they don't really get to enjoy it or see it.
Last year and this year, I got a villa for 2 weeks and took like 10, 11 mates out.
Lucky friends.
Which is good. Yeah, good people though. We just done a lot of cooking and chilled a lot.
So I have to say congratulations on the album. I know it's your second album, and some people were sort of thinking it was your first album, but to be fair, I think just back to the first album, people have forgotten about some of the brilliant singles that were off that, and where you had the sample of "Don't Be Good to Me" and then "In Excess," "Need You Tonight" as well. And I know Lily Allen was certainly a huge kind of supporter of yours. And how did you sort of get in contact with her, or how did that kind of happen? Because you seemed to be sort of maybe having doubts about what you were doing when she sort of came along and just revived it for you.
Yeah, she we met through a mutual friend. One of her band members, actually a keyboard player, used to play for the Streets, and I used to be signed to Mike Skinner's record label, so I met Eddie ages before that, and then he ended up playing for Lily, so we met through him a couple of times, and then we were just having a chat on Facebook, and I mentioned that I'd cleared the rights to use the words from "Don't Be Good to Me," and she was like, well, send it over. So I sent her the demo. And then she wrote back, well, why don't you let me sing the chorus and we can perform it live at Festival? I was like, well, all right then. What'd you say to that? I'd never have just asked her.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then we got in the studio, then she took me on tour with her, and we just become good mates.
And then certainly for the second album, I mean, Emily Sandé was on the first album as well, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was on Kids That Love to Dance.
Yeah, and I think people sort of thought that she kind of came out of nowhere on the second album, but Read All About It is just such a fantastic song. And what I wanted to know, I'm sure if I'd Googled it I would have been able to find out, but it's also, she's got her own, obviously, Read All About It on her album.
Yeah.
Which came first, actually?
Mine, yeah. She didn't actually write Read All About It. I did that with TMS and... Sorry, the whispering put me off.
You're grand.
Just whispering. We should just leave all this
We're in good company. Actually, I don't edit this. This is great.
Yeah. Hey, can we get back to this now that they've sodded off? Yeah, my version came first. I wrote the song with Ian James and TMS, and I asked Emily if she'd sing it, which I wasn't too sure she'd say yes because she didn't write it. But she loved the song, so she did it. And that's worked out amazingly for both of us, really.
It's one of the few songs, obviously, when it came out, I mean, it was like...
You lot are just intent, aren't you? Look, don't hide around the corner now. They've got you on film.
Oh, I didn't know.
It's all right. Hi. Hi. Still filming for Arthur's Day, are you? Yeah, I'm still here being interviewed and being interrupted time and time again.
I actually didn't know there was other people with a camera.
Yeah,
I
no,
thought it was the other girl on the phone.
I creeping, but no, do you know what? It's worked out.
Do you know what I'll just...
Thank you. Yeah. Do you know what? That song worked out amazingly for both of us. Most recently with Emily singing it at the Olympics.
That was unbelievable. It was just
Incredible.
such, yeah.
And I mean, she was like the face of the Olympics almost. She couldn't escape her. It was wicked.
Yeah, and it was amazing to see her, and it's just, but it is one of those songs that even as I was saying, it was played so much, but you never really got tired of it. It just sort of
it transcended anything we thought it would ever do.
and the performance on the X Factor that night. And I have to say, I'm not a massive X Factor watcher, but I was watching that night, and you looked like it was kind of your moment that you went, you seem to be loving it.
I think that for me made everything make sense to a lot of people. Before that, I was kind of a name and a song that they'd sort of heard, but I think that signified my arrival. I think that was where I really started to establish myself. And then 2 days after that, we done Jonathan Ross. Jonathan Ross? What is wrong with me?
Who was Graham Norton?
Any sleep?
Jonathan?
No, it wasn't Graham Norton.
Jonathan Ross, Graham Norton.
No, it's the proper music show. What's wrong with me?
Oh, Jules Holland.
God, see, it's the Jays. What's wrong with me? I need sleep. I've got gigs to do. What's going to happen then? We done that 2 days after we done the X Factor, so it was wicked being able to still tread that line between credible and commercial, especially with the same song.
Yeah.
And it was wicked doing Jules Holland because we were like, we had Coldplay to our left. It was nuts. Chris Martin telling me how much he loved the first album, and that "swear down" become a bit of a phrase on their tour bus for a while. And then later on joining Emily when she was supporting Coldplay in Europe, and flying back with Chris Martin and him peering over his seat and going, "So DPMO's the next single, yeah?" Which it didn't end up being, but it's just mad that people like that are even listening to my music and are fans.
It's brilliant, and I certainly think a program like Jules Holland, when you're on that, you kind of think, you watch that as a kid, and you think, you've made it when you get that.
I've done the Top of the Pops Christmas special. That was a moment. I'm on Top of the Pops.
I often wondered, what does it look like in there? Because is it recorded much before Christmas? Because when I was a kid, I always presumed that was live. Of course, I wouldn't know any better. But
on Christmas Day, you just get everyone.
Yeah, everyone. I was like, oh, that's great.
No, it wasn't to be fair, it wasn't much before.
Yeah.
But that was cool. Again, the example was there, who I've known for a long time.
He was on the Signs as well with you at Mike Skinner, wasn't he?
Too long. Yeah, he was on the same record label, so we've been pals for a long time.
And just, I suppose, it's hard to say really what's next. You've done so much already.
Taking a break from touring. I'm not taking an actual break. I don't get to do that. But I'm going to write another album, and I'm going to take time away from everything else. I'm going to let people miss me just for a little bit, not too long.
Yeah, well, that's not a bad idea, actually.
Yeah,
take a nice little break.
There's been so much of me everywhere. I'm sick of myself. So I'm just going to take a step back and just focus on having fun and making an album and doing what I really enjoy.
I know obviously you haven't really started on it, but any collaborations or anyone that you'd really like to get on the album? Maybe something with Chris Martin?
Wow, I hadn't even thought about that. They're kind of,
You never know.
You never know. Could always ask the question. I'd love to work with Lana. I think she's wicked.
Lana Del Rey. Yeah, she really is.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to, I'll say a little prayer for you for your gigs later, that you're still awake and that they go well for you. Obviously, we won't be mentioning where you're playing because it's a surprise. But, well, you don't know either. So
Don't trust me with that.
No, and they wouldn't trust me either. So it's been a pleasure to talk to you and enjoy your gigs tonight.
Thank you.